Hi, I'm Starborn. Remember, to be a star, you have to shine your own light, follow your own path, and not be afraid of the darkness, because that's when stars shine brightest. If you've been looking at my website, that would be certainly a wonderful thing, but actually it's been down for a while. I'm not certain that it's up at the moment, but so I'll tell you the title of the show, and it is Feeling the Heat. And the reason why you and I and everyone else can be sort of feeling the heat this week, or pressure that we wish we didn't have, is because there are 10 planets up in the heavens, and they're all in one form or another that is very challenging right now. Because there are 6 planets in the mutable signs, which are generally very flexible and adaptable and pretty easy to get along with. But there are 6 planets in a harsh T-cross among the mutable signs, and there are another 4 planets, the remainder of them up there, that are in another harsh T-cross among the fixed signs. There are no planets in the cardinal signs. The 4 cardinal signs are Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn. No planets there. And so there can be a lot of tension in one way or another, and that means that you could be feeling the heat. And it may come through some people or a situation which can be deliberately misleading. In other words, there can be some people around, because of the pressure of these harsh T-crosses of all 10 planets, that can be deliberately sending out mixed messages, or can be deliberately wanting to mislead you in one way or another. It could be simply because they want to delay their inevitable departure. So they could pretend that they can't make up their mind about something, or they're just not ready to do something yet. And what they're doing is they're stalling because they're deliberately trying to confuse people. And so you could be feeling the heat from that, or the pressure. You may be wondering why somebody does not get the message right now, or they can be trying hard for you to not get the message. And so this can create a lot of mayhem and certainly misleading information that could really confuse people or delay things that should be making progress right now. And so let's divide that into the 2 types of T-crosses that there are. The first one, with the 6 planets in the mutable signs, why, that's 60% of all the planets. And they're really not understanding each other at all. And that is because Mercury is now in Virgo. It's at 3 degrees. And Virgo is a sign that rules analysis and details and sort of accounting, wanting to get things straight. And it's at home in the sign it rules, so it's pretty strong. And so it sort of wants to get to the bottom of things. But that Mercury in Virgo is being opposed by Saturn and Neptune in Pisces. Pisces doesn't insist on having all the details the way a Virgo would. They sort of go by their feelings. It's a water sign, and all the water signs rule our feelings. And so Mercury is opposing Saturn, and that can indicate that some people sort of want to hang on to things that they've outgrown or somebody else has outgrown, or else there can be things going on behind the scenes that have been going on for a long time that are somewhat secretive and can be misleading if that information comes out. And then Neptune is also in the sign, and Neptune is the ruler of Pisces. It's coming up against the ruler of Virgo. That's not too good, because the outstanding traits of both of these signs are in conflict, and an opposition represents separation, because a lot of these planets are close to being 180 degrees apart. They're not connecting very well at all. But the bigger problem is that all 3 of these planets in Virgo and in Pisces are all being squared by 3 more planets, because Mars has moved into Gemini right now, so it's squaring Pisces, and it's squaring Virgo. And then Jupiter is also in Gemini, and today the moon has gone into Gemini. So those 3 planets in Gemini, which do have backup because they're all being tried by Pluto in Aquarius, they are insisting, and that's a communication sign too. It's too bad that since Mercury, the planet of communication and of the mind, rules 2 signs. It rules Virgo and it rules Gemini. So Mercury could be at home in either of these signs. Well, the stronger sign is Gemini, which rules easy communication, advertising. It rules the whole telecommunications field. It rules the media. It rules advertising and promotion, buying and selling, marketing. Certainly it rules easy transitional change. So there could be people around that just want to make an easy transitional change, and they can have a lot of light and good ideas about that. Remember, Jupiter's in the sign. But they're running up against people that can be deliberately misleading and even wanting to cover up something from the past, and they're pretty intent on that. Or else they can be put off. An easy transitional change can be deliberately put off right now because other people are saying, well, they need more facts, or they need more information, or they're being a little bit sticky about the details right now. And so there's a possibility of a lot of misunderstanding right now for different reasons, but a lot of misunderstanding. And you could be feeling the heat about that because you may feel it's a little unfair the way that other people are communicating right now, or it's a little unfair that they are stressing only their viewpoints and not being willing to adapt to yours. And so a lot of misinformation could be coming about. Well, to add insult to injury, there are 4 more planets in the fixed signs that are also squaring and opposing each other, and that can be that can lead to deeper problems because fixed signs don't budge at all. At least the mutable signs are flexible. They're just not getting along too well right now. But in the fixed signs, the Sun and Venus are in Leo, a fixed sign, and they are being strongly opposed by Pluto in Aquarius, which rules powerful people in upper management that have their eyes on the future. And Leo is a pretty fun-loving sign. It rules love affairs, children, sports, gambling, horse racing, parties. And Venus is there. Could be a lot of people that just want to do that. But there are other people that say, later, we have our eyes on the future. We want to get going in that direction. And so there can be some pretty powerful betrayals, or once again, separations. That's what oppositions represent, between people who are in charge and they want to go into the future. And other people can just be relying more or less on the good old times they've always had, and they want to keep them that way. And so there's a conflict there. And there will be a parting of the ways because of that. And then these 3 planets are all being harshly squared by a malefic planet, Uranus in Taurus. And so and Taurus rules investments because it's a fixed financial sign. So there could be some upsetting news about investments, and particularly the fluctuation of the income from investments. So that could be a little tricky. Or in the rise or the diminishing of the value of commercial property. That could be going on as well. And then, since Uranus is one malefic planet that's in a pretty harsh aspect to the other planets in fixed signs, which means people are just more or less wanting to dig in. And that can be making you feel the heat too. Because maybe you're one of those people that wants to go in the future. But other people are perhaps wanting to deliberately delay or mislead you because that isn't what they want. And so there can be conflict there. There are 2 other malefic planets, and they are both in conflict right now. They are in the mutable signs because Mars in Gemini is squaring Saturn in Pisces. And so it simply means that there can be a deliberate attempt to mislead in the conversation or in things that are going along part-time, or something where you think that Gemini rules transportation because it rules short journeys. Sagittarius rules long journeys to foreign countries. But there could be problems just in the way you're getting around right now. You could be feeling the heat because those transportation matters are sort of up in the air and going wrong. And it may be due to a deliberate attempt behind the scenes to create mayhem. And so you could be feeling the heat from that, simply from the pressure you're facing if you're traveling. But you know, there could be a lot more to that. There could be a reason behind all that, and it wouldn't be a pretty picture. So this is a time when you are going to have to be pretty careful who you talk to and what you agree to. And I would say it's going to be a little hard to come to an agreement right now. That's why you could be feeling the heat, particularly if you're a person that wants to go on and has vision and sort of wants to get things going. Because the planets that were very strong last week were the rulers of Scorpio, and they're even stronger this week. And so somebody's going to have the last word for sure, and Scorpio rules justice. It is not because the sign of Scorpio is well aspected. Remember, there's 4 planets in the fixed signs. Well, they're pouring all their pent-up frustration from the planets in Leo, the planets in Aquarius, and the Uranus in Taurus. They're pouring all of that frustration and challenge into the sign of Scorpio, which is empty. But Scorpio's rulers are doing great. And that is because Pluto in Aquarius is trining Mars, Scorpio's other ruler, in Gemini, and Jupiter is in Gemini, and today the moon is in Gemini. Scorpio's rulers are more backed up this week than they were last week, and they were doing okay last week. And so this is a time when we may be feeling the heat, but if some situation of public unrest or some emergency situation or just a lot of mixed messages where you feel like, somebody's not telling you the whole story, if those things come to a head, then there's still the possibility that someone will have the last word, and it will involve the things that Scorpio rules. And Scorpio rules the military, but it also rules the police. It rules justice and survival, and it rules medicine, particularly the field of surgery. The surgeons believe the way to cure something is cut it out. And so that kind of attitude is going to persist right now. And so even if you're feeling the heat right now, which I think a whole lot of us are going to be doing in the next week, there could be a way to resolve a problem, and it would be fair, and it would involve a sense of justice. So if somebody has it coming, they're probably going to get it. And I would advise you, in whatever way you can, if you are really feeling the heat, and you're in some sort of argument or protracted conversation or deal that just isn't getting anywhere, and there may be a funny kind of a reason for that. Maybe somebody just wants you to sort of hang out there and not go forward yourself. And so they're being deliberately misleading with you. Or they can't make up their mind, so you can't go forward either. But that could be deliberate. And so if you are feeling the heat and you get upset, I urge you to cool down, and then I urge you to seriously just consider ending something. Just end it. Because, how much strife can you endure? How much pressure do you want to live under? How many times do you want to just keep going back over the same arguments or the same facts and getting nowhere? Hopefully you'll come to the conclusion that it's better to end something. And that way that leaves you free, and it gets you out of situations that other people are trying to tie you up in right now. That's where the heat's coming from. Misleading information, or people who are deliberately trying to conceal something or trying to sort of hang on to the past. And that's not going to work right now, because Pluto is in Aquarius, the sign of the future. That's never happened in our lifetimes before, but that's really going to change the way people's plans go forward. Some people don't want to go into the future, but others do. And they've sort of got momentum now. There's 4 planets in the air signs, and there's the 2 rulers of Scorpio and the moon and Jupiter. Jupiter's going to stay trining Pluto. Jupiter's going to be in Gemini for a year. Even if you could only make progress on a part-time effort, you would tend to be very successful at that, because Gemini rules part-time efforts and Jupiter's there. So give that a thought. All right, what does this mean to all 12 of the sun signs? Well, Aries, you do have two good planets trining your sun because the sun and Venus are in trine to your sign, which is good. And your ruler, Mars, is now in Gemini and does have backup because Pluto is trining it. So there could be a financial situation, since Pluto and Mars rule Scorpio, and Scorpio is a fixed financial sign. There could be a financial situation that could more or less work out right now, and it would involve some sort of financing or money that would back a new start that you want to make. Your sign rules new starts, Aries, and the sun is trining your sign, and so is Venus. You might get lucky with somebody that comes along and wants to financially back a project of yours. That's possible. It may be speculative right now. Leo rules speculation. But, maybe you have worked hard on a certain plan, and maybe if you present that cohesively to somebody else, they may decide, oh, okay, we'll back you on that, or we'll let you give it a try, or something like that. Well, so that could be possible right now, Aries, which is good. The thing of it is that I don't think you can make it on your own, because there's no planets in cardinal signs, and yours is a cardinal sign. But it does have backup from the two wonderful planets, the Sun and Venus in Leo. And so even your ruler, Mars, is favorably trined right now. So I would suggest that you remove yourself from some sort of prolonged negotiations that haven't gotten anywhere anyway, and end something, Aries. And the reason why is you've got better things ahead of you, and they're right on your doorstep. They're not out there in the future, they're right on your doorstep. And I think you need to take advantage of the Sun and Venus in Leo trining your sun, because there's nothing in your sun sign. And you need to get out, and if people are excited about something that you want to do, don't delay. Just end whatever other controversies you may be in, because you could be feeling the heat from them, and get going on a new start. It is aspected to be successful. And it might be because somebody else is backing you up and willing to take a chance on your good idea, and so I wouldn't waste a moment. Cut your ties to the past and go forward, Aries, while the stars are with you. Okay, what does it mean to a Taurus? Well, Taurus, remember I said Uranus is in your sign. It'll still be there for another year. And so, since it's a malefic planet that denotes sudden, surprising upset and change and volatility, there could be some changes in the values of your investments, or in property that you own, or just simply there could be mounting costs, or maintenance cost even, to something expensive that you own. So, the costs just keep going up, and so do the taxes. Taxes are ruled by Scorpio, and Scorpio opposes your sun sign. But there are other things going on that you need to watch out for right now, Taurus. One of them is that Pluto is in Aquarius, the sign of the future, and it squares your sun sign. The other thing is perhaps a little closer to home or closer to your heart, but it's a harsh aspect, and it is that the Sun and Venus, your own ruler, are in Leo, squaring your sun and squaring that Uranus. And so there's something in your own life, or how you run your life, that could be upsetting. It could be a financial situation that's upsetting, simply because there's higher costs or higher taxes, or it could be that income is dropping from the sudden change or fluctuation in investments, and that would directly affect you, Taurus. And so that would be a little bit hard to face. And the fact that the Venus, your own ruler, is squaring your sun means that somebody else wants to go their own way, and or else they think a little more highly of themselves than they do of you at the moment, Taurus. And it also could be that they could be involved in some sort of a gamble, and you might say to yourself, oh, gee, I don't think that gamble's going to work. And they could still be sort of riding the crest of a wave and saying, oh, yeah, I'm going to stick with it. So there would be a disagreement about a financial matter, and you would not budge, and neither would they. Fixed signs don't budge. And so end something, Taurus, Because actually Mercury, the planet of the mind and of communication, has just come into Virgo. It's at 3 degrees of Virgo today, but it does trine your sun. It's the only planet that is trining your sun right now and trining Uranus in your sign. And so if I were you, I would certainly try to improve my health. That's what Virgo rules, and it rules mental health as well as physical health. So you might want to improve your attitude about something, Taurus. And one good way to do that is to relieve yourself of stressful situations where you're not getting anywhere anyway. End them. Because, it's better for your mental state of mind not to have the pressure that other people can be creating for you. And it isn't getting you anywhere. It isn't getting them anywhere either. But end that. And that is because you could start looking over your books or looking over your investments, which I think you should do, Taurus. And you may be able somehow to work on the small facts and details or cut your costs in a very prudent way right now and be able to get through a threatening financial time. Remember, we're all going to be feeling the heat. You might be feeling it financially, Taurus. And certainly you'd be feeling it in matters that are concerned with children, love affairs, sports, or gambling. That would not work out for you, Taurus. Better to end something for your own peace of mind. Because you have Mercury in Virgo, which is very strong. It's under stress. It's being opposed and squared by other planets, but it is trining your sun, and it's the only planet that's trining your sun. So you need to withdraw and just think a whole lot better of what's good for you, and stick to that, Taurus. So I hope you do. Okay, what does it mean to a Gemini? Well, Gemini, this is a time, Gemini, when you could be riding pretty high. And you could still be feeling the heat. I think everybody's going to be doing that. But you have 3 wonderful planets in your sign. Now, you may not agree that they're all wonderful because Mars is in your sign right now. And it's sort of like like the Energizer Bunny. It's going to really get you going. It could put you under a little bit of stress because Mars is a dynamic planet and it rules aggression, it rules war. And it rules having to do things quickly. And so you might be under a lot of pressure and feeling the heat from the schedules that you have to meet or deadlines that you have to meet right now. Okay, well, that's the way life is, Gemini. But you have such good planets in your sign, which are backed up, that I think you're going to come out of something just fine. But I would not delay on anything right now, Gemini. If you're a little bit behind on anything, you need to play catch-up real quickly. And that is because you have Jupiter in your sign. Better things are ahead for you. It isn't leaving your sign till next summer. Your life is definitely going to expand. That's why it's so important for you to catch up on things that need doing right now. Or that if there's a pending deadline, you need to sort of jump on it and get it done. And don't wait till the last minute, because the moon is also in your sign. It's a quick mover. It's going to move right on, but it's in your sign right now, and it's a lot of light. So there can be a lot of light on you, Gemini, and I know you'd want to be seen at your best, which is good. Mercury in Virgo, which is a planet that is going to insist on facts and details and rules our mental health as well as our physical health. That Mercury is squaring the 3 planets in your sign, and Saturn and Neptune in Pisces are also squaring the 3 planets in your sign. Saturn squaring the moon in your sign is an indication that parents or relatives are not getting along right now. They're not seeing eye to eye. You could be feeling the heat just from that kind of pressure. Emotional pressure or family pressures. And I still urge you to believe in yourself. Try to get a little ahead of the deadlines that you're facing. And so that means you are going to have to work pretty hard right now, Gemini, but it will certainly be to your future benefit. Pluto in Aquarius, which is in the sign of the future, is trining your sun. So it will be to your future benefit, and there can be more money coming in because of that. So you really need to sort of just focus on what you need to do, Gemini. And if some people are wanting to give you mixed messages, drop them. And just keep going on what you know is the right thing to do. Because this is the time to do it. And your sign rules common sense. So does Virgo. And I don't think that you can waste a moment on other people's subterfuge or other people's excuses or or even trying to find out what other people are hiding. Just forget it and focus on yourself, Gemini. While the stars are with you, you will be rewarded for that. Okay, what does it mean for a Cancer? Well, Cancer. This is a time, Cancer, when there aren't any planets in the cardinal signs. So there's nothing in your sign, but there's also nothing squaring or opposing it, because there's nothing in Aries, and there's nothing in Libra, and there's nothing in Capricorn. So it is important to know what your ruler is doing, Cancer, and your ruler is the moon, and it is right behind your sun sign, along with Jupiter and Mars, which are in Gemini, behind your sun sign. And they are doing okay. Yes, they are in a mutable sign. They're being squared and opposed by 3 other planets, but they're also being trined by Pluto in Aquarius. And so, Cancer, I think that if you were feeling the heat or the pressure, particularly from people who are sort of trying to create mixed messages or some sort of smoke screen so that you can't find out what's really been going on behind the scenes, so you know, there are times when you might feel like some people are creating a foggy picture, or they can't make up their minds about something. And you could be, Cancers are nice people, they would be patient and waiting and waiting and waiting. And maybe it's time that you woke up, Cancer, and realized that perhaps they're doing something deliberate. That they are deliberately trying to convince you that they can't make up their mind. Or they're deliberately trying to hide something that they don't want you to know. Or it can just be that there are people around that are wanting to create mayhem. And so that could occur anywhere. And Cancer, you just need to step back a little bit. And there's, as I said, nothing squaring and opposing your sun sign. And the 3 planets in Pisces are all trining your sun sign. And that's 2 planets. That is Saturn and Neptune, the ruler of Pisces, trining your sign. You actually could find out what is going on behind the scenes, but I would do that very quietly, Cancer. And since people are all going to be feeling the heat one way or another, and whether you're feeling the heat directly or not, Cancer, you can see the pressures mounting and the misinformation and the mayhem or the mixed messages. You can see that around you. It's just that, you know, maybe you better be a little bit more alert to the fact that there could be some people deliberately doing that or trying to confuse you or mislead you in some way. Simply because they don't want you to know what else, they don't want you to know the rest of the story. And yet I think you could find out what's going on behind the scenes if you wanted to, because it's your sign that's got these 3 good planets right behind it in the background of your life. Jupiter is a wonderful thing to have right behind a person's sun sign. It means few, if any, enemies. Mars is a real energizer. That means that there are some matters that you do have to clear up. No matter how long somebody wants to delay something or can't make up their mind, you need to conclude some things, Cancer. And there's really nothing stopping you, because there's nothing squaring or opposing your sun. And your ruler's trining your sun, the moon. Or it's not trining your sun, it's right behind your sun sign. You know, Cancer is an emotional sign. If people know how to punch your buttons and get you to react emotionally, they sort of got you where they want you. And possibly you need to step back and end something. Just end it while you can. And that would be to take the emotional pressure off you, so that you could go ahead in your own future. And Pluto, the ruler of Scorpio, is in Aquarius, the sign of the future, and it's trining all those planets in Gemini that are right behind your sun sign. You would do better to sort of clear the decks so that you could make a new start in the future. So just think about it, Cancer. Okay, what does it mean to a Leo? Well, Leo, you can feel like you want to take center stage, because the sun, your own ruler, is in your sign, and Venus is in your sign as well. So, I mean, you could want to look your best, you could want to be having fun, you could be enjoying summer fun, or sports, or children's activities. You would certainly feel like going to the horse races, or taking a gamble on a lot of things right now. But your sign has no backup, Leo. There's nothing in Aries. There's nothing in Sagittarius. And on top of that, yours is a fixed sign, so it's part of 4 planets which are in a harsh T-cross. And so Pluto in Aquarius is opposing the Sun in your sign and Venus. And when Venus is faced with an opposition or a square from Pluto or Saturn, it is always an indication of a betrayal. And oppositions mean separations. And so I don't think you're in love with everybody right now, Leo. There could be some people that you could just, it's fine if you just move on. It's also fine with you if they move on. And they're part of yesterday. And they're part of things that you've outgrown. And you are in a rather, I think, good frame of mind with the Sun and Venus in your sign. But there can be financial pressures on you because Uranus, at least Mars is not in Taurus anymore, but Uranus is, and it is squaring Venus and the Sun in your sign, and it's squaring Pluto in Aquarius. If you have been thinking of future plans that are fairly expensive, I think that the costs would simply be going up, and the question that you have to ask yourself is if you can still afford something. And possibly you should be pulling back on your budget. Mercury is in Virgo right ahead of your sun sign. Maybe you need to take time out right now, stop spending money, and look at your budget a lot more closely. Particularly in light of the fluctuation of the value of your investments or the fact that your income can be fluctuating as well. That's not a good place to be. And so maybe you should sort of pull in the reins a little bit, Leo, particularly on anything speculative. If you've been gambling, I'd sell it. Just get rid of it. End it. Because gambling is really not favored for anybody, and it hasn't been. And so I think you need to, Leos sort of think that they can handle everything. They're pretty confident people. But you could be feeling the heat. And why would you continue that? There's no point in it. You have good planets in your sign. You should try to cut out what is not working for you and end it, and then that leaves you time to concentrate more on what would make you happy. And I think you should try to do that, Leo, while the Sun and Venus are still in your sign. They don't have any backup, but boy, they're good planets. You should be trying to focus a little bit more just on what your own needs are, and certainly financially they could be changing right now, or they may have already been changing, and maybe you need to trim your budget a little bit. You'd have to put a pencil to it, but this is a good time to withdraw and try to make sure you're a little more secure, Leo, because perhaps you are not. And hoping that things will turn around is not going to get you too far right now. So try to stabilize and cut costs if you can. All right, what does it mean to a Virgo? Well, Virgo, congratulations. Mercury is in your sign and it is your ruler. That's good, Virgo, because that's going to sort of give you a new lease on life. And the reason why is that when a planet is at home in the sign they rule, they operate for the good in that sign because they rule the sign. So that's wonderful. You could sit down right now and really look over your books and look over your long-term retirement plans and look over your investments, and you could just lay all that out in front of you, Virgo, and say, okay, what do I want to keep and what do I want to get rid of? Or what's working and what isn't working? Your sign rules analysis. You could figure that out, and you'd have to apply just common sense. And you're good at that, Virgo. And so, I mean, you don't have to make it hard on yourself. Other people are willing to make it hard on you, Virgo, because Saturn and Neptune in Pisces are opposing your sun sign. And so there are people that either don't want you to know what's been going on behind the scenes, or else they wouldn't mind stopping you in one way or another. You could be feeling the heat from that because they could give you deliberately misleading mixed messages that meant to confuse you or create mayhem or to rile you up in some way. Virgo is sort of a keenly analytical sign that doesn't work very well for you, Virgo. You shouldn't respond to that. And you should just concentrate on your own affairs, because Mercury in your sign is being trined by Uranus in Taurus. That Uranus is a malefic planet because it's unstable and it rules volatility. And so this is a good time for you to quietly withdraw and take a look at things that they're not looking too secure right now. Or maybe they're even your relationships that, you can't really count on them and you know it. And, what are they still doing in your life, Virgo? You have to pare things down to what you can count on and what's going to be good for you in the long run. And if that means trimming your budget, you would be pretty good at doing that. Virgos are very good at handling their accounting matters and their bills. And so, you need to focus a little bit more on what can make you secure, not only right now, but down the road. And that's enough work to do. So I wouldn't respond to everybody else's misleading messages right now, because you could be feeling the heat, thinking that you needed to respond or you needed to help other people. And that's a natural thing for a Virgo to do, because it rules the 6th house of occupations that are of service to others. But this is a much more important time for you to withdraw and figure out where you are, Virgo, and how safe you can be. And we all have to respond to feeling the heat in one way or another. And it would be a good idea if you just withdrew and said, okay, what's working for me and how can I stick to that? And if there is anything else in your life that isn't working for you, you should end it. Because if it hasn't done you any good by now, what's your rationale for thinking that it ever will? It's just, draw a conclusion, Virgo, and stick with it. You have a good mind. You would have good reasons for that. So go ahead. All right, what does it mean to a Libra? Well, Libra, this is a time, since yours is a cardinal sign, that nothing is squaring and opposing your sun sign, because there's nothing in the cardinal signs, but there's pressure coming from 6 planets that are in a harsh T-cross among the mutable signs, and another 4 that are in a harsh T-cross among the fixed signs. This will affect you, Libra. It may affect you in a somewhat positive way, though. And the reason why is there is strength in the air signs, and yours is an air sign. And your ruler, Venus, is in Leo, along with the sun, and it's sextiling your sun. A sextile represents opportunities. So there may be more opportunities for you right now, Libra, than there have been in the past. And they're around. And they could be opportunities for more fun and more enjoyment. Because that's what Leo rules, and it's summertime. So I hope you get out of the house and enjoy just simple, fun things. But at the same time, you should be thinking a little bit more long-term, Libra. And that is because there's a solar eclipse coming up in your sun's sign in October, and it's a great one. And the summer's moving on. You've got to get ready, Libra, for what might be an extremely beneficial change coming up in your life by your birthday. And it could also mean a new contract or a much better partnership than you've had in the past. It could even be your ideal partner. And the reason why is that Pluto is in Aquarius trining your sun, and then Mars and Jupiter and the moon in Gemini are also trining your sun. You have 4 planets trining your sun today, Libra. And your ruler is sextiling your sun. You don't have anything in your sun sign, but you also don't have anything squaring and opposing it, because there's no planets in cardinal signs, and you have plenty of backup right now from the 4 planets in the other air signs that are all trining your sign. This is a time when you should move forward, Libra. And if you say, oh, but I don't know what direction I'm going in, well, then at least get ready, okay? And I think that that's not quite true. I think you do know of a new direction you want to go in, or better partners that you want to join and hook up with. And you could even have in the back of your mind or in your heart, you could have an ideal partner, and I would say they're around. I don't know if they're speaking to you personally, but you know who they are. They may know who you are too. And there is the possibility in one way or another, even if it's only in a short time or in a part-time way, that you get together with them. And that's entirely possible, even right now, Libra. And at least you can start looking forward to that and planning for that and preparing for that. And I think that's what you need to do. So if you are just sitting there thinking, oh, well, tomorrow's going to be just like today, I can just go on and do my life the way I've always done it. No, Libra, you have to think much more about preparing yourself to go down a new road, a road that's going to lead to much greater happiness for you. And it will come through another partner. It's not just going to be you doing the whole thing. It's somebody else joining you. And it could make you happy for the rest of your life. You have to get ready for that, Libra. And so, are you ready? I mean, nothing disturbs a Libra's charm. They've always got that. But there's a lot more to life than just being charming. You have to really be ready to be a good partner, okay? In a whole lot of ways. And I don't think that you have thought enough about how to prepare for that. But you better start now, Libra, because October's coming. And for you to miss your wonderful chance under the Libra solar eclipse in your sign in October, that would be a travesty. And you shouldn't do that. This is sort of your year, Libra. And it will peak around your birthday. And I just don't think you're quite ready to anticipate that and to follow through and prepare for that. And this is when you need to do that. And there's nothing stopping you. No planets in cardinal signs squaring or opposing your sun. So you're out of excuses, Libra. You got to get ready. Good luck. Okay, what does it mean to a Scorpio? Well, Scorpio. This is a time, Scorpio, when your sign is getting hammered. You could really be feeling the heat right now, Scorpio, from a lot of other people that sort of want to get in your way, or they want to deliberately mislead you, or they want to create mayhem around you. And that would be because either they don't know what they're doing, or they're sort of, I think there are some people around you, Scorpio, that are what you call hanging on. You know, they're hanging on to yesterday, and they're hanging on to you to prevent you from going into the future. They see you as part of their yesterday, and so they want to hang on to you because they think you can support them in doing everything they used to do. What good is that, Scorpio? That's not going to lead you into the future. That's going to make you a babysitter to the past. Don't do that. First of all, it's going to be real boring after a while. And secondly, I don't see anything in it for you. Your rulers are beautifully aspected right now. Your sun sign is taking heat from a lot of different situations, from people who don't want you to know what's going on behind the scenes, from people who aren't too sure what they're doing, but they feel like, they feel like just taking a chance or taking a gamble or doing things their way, or they want to be the star. And where does that lead? I mean, it might lead somewhere for them, but what does it do for you, Scorpio? Nothing. The two planets in Leo square your sun, and your own ruler, Pluto in Aquarius, is squaring your sun, and Uranus in Taurus is opposing your sun. Sticking to yesterday is going to do you no good at all, Scorpio. And there could be that you're feeling the heat. You're feeling cramped. Or you're feeling like, I don't want to do things the same old way. Now, if somebody would listen to you, if you had some new ideas that people from the past would listen to and agree to go into the future by your instructions, well, that's a different story. But it's looking to me as if you're the one that is the communicator, and if nobody's listening, why bother to talk? You need to make sure you're talking to people who are interested in the future and are not hanging on to the past. That's the point. And it's your rulers that are having a great time right now. Pluto is trining Mars, it's your other ruler, and Jupiter, it's trining that for a year, and the moon is in Gemini as well. If you feel that you're in a situation where you're really feeling the heat right now, at least take some sort of step that gets you out of it, even if it's just part-time or temporary. Try to move forward somehow, Scorpio, on your own, okay? Without yesterday's old news, without people that are trying to hang on to the past or can't make up their mind about anything. They're not the kind of people that are going to take you into the future, and you are definitely going into the future. It's just that this harsh T-cross in fixed signs, which has been going on with different planets for a long time now, it's been weighing you down and more or less holding you back. And you need to end something. You need to end that. And it's your rulers that are going to go into the future, Scorpio. Do not make the mistake of missing that by clinging to the past. You have to go into the future too, because they're very well aspected right now. And they haven't always been, but they are now. So do your best. Okay, what does it mean to a Sagittarian? Well, Sagittarius, yours is a mutable sign. Ooh, you're getting hit, Sagittarius. Oh, but you could be saved too, in a way, because the good news is the Sun and Venus and Leo are trining your Sun. If you were thinking of taking a long-distance trip, I think that you could get together with other people and figure out a way to do that or afford it. So that would be nice, Sagittarius. Or you could meet somebody new that is actually very delightful in one way or another, very harmonious, and you could have a lot of fun, particularly this summer while the Sun and Venus and Leo are trining your Sun, so that's good. But there are other fish to fry, and that you've got to handle, Sagittarius, because since yours is a mutable sign, take a look at what's happening. Mars and Jupiter, your own ruler, and the Moon are in Gemini, opposing your Sun sign today. Mercury in Virgo is squaring your Sun sign today, and so is Saturn, and so are Saturn and Neptune in Pisces. Your sign doesn't have anything in it, but there happen to be 6 planets squaring and opposing your sign, dumping all of their frustration into your sign, the same way that the 4 planets in fixed signs are doing to Scorpio. You may know other people that are feeling the heat and that are under pressure, and you could be too, Sagittarius, but I think you have sort of a happy way out of it by being able, you could be very popular with people right now, but there are other people that may create heated situations for you because they want to, because they're deliberately trying to create mayhem or mislead you or trying to confuse you, or deliberately hold you back by saying they can't make up their mind, and therefore that would be limiting any conclusion or forward progress that you would want to make. You have to end it. You have to stop listening to people like that, Sagittarius. You do have the Sun and Venus trining your Sun. Those are wonderful planets. Okay, so you're going to have to step out of some messy situations that are meant to hold you down. And don't let them do it. Because you can step out, even if you're only seeking a brief respite in a short journey or a short concert that you want to go to, or some part-time fun that you want to have. Oh, that's better than being the fall guy. That's better than being the target of everybody else that wants to stop you. Don't let it happen to you, Sagittarius. You have good planets, the Sun and Venus trining your Sun. There's just other people that sort of don't want to see you get ahead right now. Okay, so you could have a few roadblocks to jump over. You could actually spend your time, working on that with small chances of victory. Or you could go off and do something quite enjoyable for yourself, something that you like. I would do that if I were you, Sagittarius. You have a good mind. You don't have to use it solving everybody else's problems. They may not have problems that, not every problem is worth solving. If your mind is focused on things that are ruled by your sign, you should use your mind to increase your understanding of higher thinking, or of court issues, or of anything in higher education, or of anything that deals with philosophy. or even religion. Your sign rules all that. So keep being high-minded is what I'm saying. The Sun and Venus and Leo are supporting that. So I hope you do that. Okay, what does it mean to a Capricorn? Well, Capricorn, this is a time, Capricorn, when there are more planets in Earth signs right now, and they're trining your Sun. That's good, Capricorn. And there's nothing in the cardinal signs. Okay? There's nothing opposing or squaring your Sun sign, because there's nothing in Aries, Cancer, Libra, or your sign. But Mercury in Virgo now is trining your Sun, and it's only at 3 degrees. It's going to keep trining your Sun for a while. This is a wonderful time for you to address any health issues, whether they're physical or mental health issues, anything that's causing you stress. You could probably find the reason for the stress and get rid of that reason, and then you could find a way to relax a little bit better. One thing that Capricorn is always watching is their money, because they're going to live a long time. And they are always interested in cutting costs, or just making sure that their money is working as hard for them as it can. And I think that is going to increase. You're going to be successful at that, Capricorn, because Mercury is at home in Virgo, and it's trining your Sun. Well, there's another planet trining your Sun as well, and it's Uranus in Taurus. Excuse me. Uranus is a very volatile, unpredictable planet, but it's got some backup now because Mercury is trining it. And together these two planets can represent sudden financial fluctuations in your investments. That would be Uranus in Taurus. But then on the other hand, Mercury in Virgo may be allowing you to make adjustments to that still sort of keep you on an even keel. So if you were wondering if you were going to be losing money right now, no, I don't think so, Capricorn. But you could also be a little bit better at getting better prices on things if you tried, and looking for ways to cut your costs, particularly with Mercury trining your Sun, because Mercury is the planet of the mind. You could say to yourself, how could I cut my costs? Not change your lifestyle, not changing your standard of living, but how could you enjoy it and still not pay quite so much for it? I think you could figure that out right now, Capricorn. So I wish you the best of luck. That would be good for you. And remember, there's nothing in the other cardinal signs. There's nothing stopping you. So this is a very good time for you to sort of be at your best and do some good thinking, good, sharp, analytical thinking. It'll work out well for you. Okay, what does it mean to an Aquarian? Well, Aquarius. This is a time, Aquarius, when, yes, you know, you could be feeling the heat from situations that are more or less holding you back and not allowing you to go into the future. Okay, well, you got to dump those, Aquarius. And the reason why is that you can also be able to take advantage of your future plans right now. And the reason why you can do that is there's 4 planets in air signs, and yours is in air sign. It's got Pluto there, and they are all trining each other, and the sign of Libra. If there was some sort of legal situation or a confrontational partnership situation that you wanted to solve, you could do it right now, Aquarius. You could sort of clear the air, and you could settle on some sort of fair resolution to a problem, and that is a very good way to end it. Why should you continue with it? It's like you got to move on, Aquarius. Your sign rules the future, and you know it. And you have Pluto there, and it's being tried now by Mars in Gemini and Jupiter. Jupiter's going to be trining your Sun for a whole year, and the Moon is in Gemini today, trining your Sun. You could be wanting to be involved in a future project, even if it's only part-time or temporary. That could be very appealing to you right now, Aquarius. And the reason, it's a little bit like getting your feet wet in something. If you have a good idea for your future, and even if you didn't have support from anybody else, although I think you will have, particularly by the time of the Libra solar eclipse that trines your Sun in October, you'll have help with that. But, you know, if you have some great idea and you have enough time that you could devote some of your time to that in a part-time effort to get it underway, I would sure do that. And also, if you were starting something part-time right now, Aquarius, it wouldn't stay part-time. It would grow. It would expand. Jupiter is planet of expansion. It's trining your sun all year. And so you're actually going to expand on some future idea that you've got, but you've got to get away from people who have stubborn viewpoints of their own, and they can be deliberately trying to hold you back right now. I mean, you have the Sun and Venus opposing your Sun sign, and you have Uranus in Taurus, which is your own ruler, squaring your Sun sign. It's been doing that for 6 years. It's got another year of doing that. Okay, so it's not going to be a straight shot forward, but if you took a part-time step forward, that would lead to more and more and more of that. And you'd be ahead of the game. Even if you were, say, taking baby steps at the moment, Aquarius, that's all right. And you could take a few more, and a few more, and oh boy, you could travel a pretty fair distance by the October eclipse that's trining your sun, and that could result in a wonderful partnership or legal contract, even if you're just taking small steps toward that right now. And you should do that, Aquarius. Get away from whoever or whatever is holding you back that belongs to your past. It has nothing to do with your future. And if other people are saying they do have something to do with your future, I would not believe that. Because all you have to do is look at their track record and ask yourself, how does their track record fit into my future? And you would see that it doesn't. You know, facts speak for themselves, or results speak for themselves. And, you know, Aquarius, of everyone that you're associated with, you know where you're going. You know what your idea is. If other people just can't keep up, or they don't want to, or they want to hold you back, or they're deliberately misleading, what are you doing with them? That's not the kind of game that's going to get you anywhere, so stop it. Stop playing their game. And just keep taking those steps forward in your future based on some good idea that you've got. It's going to pay off. It will. It'll end up being bigger than you can think of now. And the reason why is that in a year, Uranus is moving into Gemini, and it will be trining your sun for 7 years. And Uranus, it is going to do real good in Gemini. And trine your sun the whole time. So don't live in the past, Aquarius. Go for something you've been thinking of that you know could work. Aquarians are ahead of their time. They can see down the road. Lots of other people can't, but an Aquarian can. And that's what you should be doing, getting on that road. And not on yesterday's road. Okay, what does it mean to a Pisces? Well, Pisces. This is a time, Pisces, I think you're coming up against something. Maybe more than one thing right now. At least two, because yours is a double-bodied sign. And so you have Saturn and Neptune, your own ruler, in your sign, and Neptune is at the 29th degree of fate right now. Both these planets are retrograde, meaning that they are allowing you to go back and sort of review a few things, Pisces. And I think that what you're reviewing is your past. And so what you can be doing is you can be saying, well, in my past, this worked, but this didn't. And you could even be saying to yourself, how many times have I thought that something would work out and it didn't? It was just a dud. And you didn't know that because you had faith in it, okay? But as time passed, you can now, since these planets are retrograde, go back and particularly since Saturn is in your sign, Saturn rules solid results, or the lack of them. And you can go back and you can look at different people or situations or even jobs that you used to have and say, you know, I thought this was all going to work. And now you can look at the results and it either has or it hasn't. And it may be that it hasn't. And this is a very good time for you to look over things very factually. And the reason why is that Mercury has just gone into Virgo, which it rules, and now it's opposing Saturn and Neptune, your own ruler, which rules your sign. And so your sign rules synthesis. So it rules being able to put things together. Okay, they may not all work, but overall, you know, that's okay. You can get through it. Pisces rules dreams, and it rules being able to survive the worst degradation and horrible situations that you can possibly imagine. A Pisces can survive them because they look beyond and they look for something better. And that's just your way, Pisces. You're always going to be like that. Okay, so sort of, if somebody comes along and they are wanting to mislead you or misguide you, or they already have done that, and they're sort of deliberately trying to prevent you from going forward by not making up their mind, or trying to sort of drag you back to their level, that's not going to work for you, Pisces, because both planets are retrograde in your sign, and you're getting a chance to have second thoughts. You're getting a chance to sort of, okay, you could even admit your mistakes. You could say, oh, I made a mistake on that. Well, that's a good way to learn things. Actually, that's one of the best ways to learn something, is to recognize what mistakes you've made, and then that gives you the extra knowledge to be successful going forward. Sometimes that's, unfortunately, sometimes it's a mistake. It's something we've done wrong, or it's something where we had a hope for something that never panned out, or was never as good as we thought it would be. Well, we can learn from that and go on. The important thing is to go on. It is not to stay stuck in things that drag us down, because then we're letting that happen. Why would you let that keep happening, Pisces? You have to step out from the shadows of your past and take whatever lessons you have learned, maybe even through your own mistakes, but you learned them. Okay. And then go forward. Because Mars and Jupiter and the Moon today in Gemini are also squaring the two planets in your sign, and Mercury is opposing them. Somebody who thinks they have all the answers is got to go their own way, Pisces. Because answers aren't everything that a Pisces lives for. A Pisces lives for the hope of a better day. A Pisces looks at what's wrong in the world and thinks, oh, I should try to understand that and help. Pisces are good helpers. And they don't always seek recognition for that. They're even good at helping behind the scenes. Like angels. And remember, the highest form of Pisces is divinity. You know, really, really loving all. But you have to love yourself too, Pisces. You have to survive. If you're going to be helping others or hoping for the best, then you can't be feeling the heat right now. You have to end something. Probably two things, Pisces, because yours is a double-bodied sign. And you have to say to yourself, what's the most important thing to me? I hope the answer to that, Pisces, is a dream you've had for a long time. Because that's what Neptune rules, dreams. It's your own ruler. It's only at home in the sign it rules, your sign, every 146 years. Well, it's been in your sign for 12 years, Pisces. You know, something you've been thinking about, or someone that you more or less think of as an angel, somebody who's good. You know, I think they think the same thing about you, Pisces. Maybe they can see the good in you. The true good that sometimes you hide in your heart to protect it. I think they can see that. And what are you doing about that, Pisces? Pisces is not meant to live alone or be alone. And so I think that you should go on, Pisces, despite the heat you may feel, or the pressure other people are putting on you, or the way they want to hold you back. You could be coming home to a dream. It's not like you have to reach to outer space to get it. It could have been sitting in your own backyard. Why aren't you there, Pisces? Particularly when all the planets were in Cancer. Trining your sun. Cancer rules the home. Maybe you want to live in a former home or a childhood home, but with someone new who thinks as highly of you as you do of them. If you were able to hook up with somebody like that, Pisces, do you realize that you could do twice the good as you do now? Because you'd have two people with like minds thinking the same thing and helping each other out so that you could both succeed. Maybe not exactly in the same way, but so that you could. Faith can take you a long way. But we need to be together in order to make our dreams come true. And this is a time for you to wake up, Pisces, and realize that it's your turn to make a dream come true, because it's your dream. And don't let anybody stop you, Pisces. Go right to it. You've had a long time to look over what didn't work in your life, and now you should be focusing on what's ahead that can work. So good luck. Okay, thanks for tuning in. Remember, you can subscribe to my Karen Campbell YouTube channel, and I wish you'd tell your friends about that too. And I want to thank the new subscribers that have been coming on board. I really appreciate that, and I feel that I've always had wonderful viewers. So thanks for joining. And then the website's going through a little problem. I have no idea what's wrong with it, and I can't even find anybody to help me with it. So you may not be able to read the blog which I've already written, but that's on the website. But still, I hope you keep watching the show, and I'll see you next week with a new one. Bye.